welcome to the Cash Flow Confidence Podcast. I'm Shelby Ashley, and I help business owners feel more confident about their cash flow. My message for you today is do that scary thing. I know when you hear that, something comes to mind, and you're like, ugh, I don't want to. There's something you've been putting off, and my message to you is just to get it done. If there's something you're avoiding because it feels too big or too risky or too uncomfortable, it's probably the very thing that you need to do right now in order to propel your business forward, whether that's raising your prices or hiring somebody, or maybe it's launching your new offer, getting up on stage to go talk to people, or even if it's something as simple as just reaching out to somebody in particular to go grab coffee. I want to spend some time today talking about why you might be putting that off and why doing that very thing is the key that's going to unlock your business and propel it forward. So why do these things even come up that we, for whatever reason, tend to avoid doing? It's really because, as simple as it gets, is fear of the unknown. Even if you've come very far in your business, there's still a lingering, fear of rejection or fear of failure, fear of launching something and it totally flopping, fear of reaching out to somebody for coffee and they either ghost you or they just say no. It doesn't feel good, but it's the very thing that needs to be done in order to move forward, because you'll find that once you do the scary thing and you're on the other side, you feel such a relief. Even if it didn't even turn out the way you wanted it to, it's just such a relief knowing that you trusted yourself and had the confidence in order to do that thing. You can think of it like when you work out, your muscles start to burn, and it doesn't mean that you don't need to be working out. It means that you're getting stronger. It's the same with that thing you're afraid of doing. For me personally, I sat on the idea of starting this podcast for probably like a year. I would literally walk around and have ideas flowing through my head, but for whatever reason, sitting in front of a microphone terrified me. And then one day I was like, how about if I just got over myself and decided to do it anyway? And it's not perfect, and it's fine. And yes, sometimes I go back and listen and I cringe at myself, but I know, and I'm confident enough to know that in doing this, my business is going to be unrecognizable a year from now because of it. And it's the same thing with you and the thing that you've been putting off. So you can probably think of something earlier on when you started your business that you were really afraid to do. Maybe that's even something as simple as like telling people on Facebook that you started a business. And now look at yourself and look at how far you've come because you did those scary things. Because it's the biggest growth and opportunities that come to you outside of your comfort zone. Your comfort zone, it keeps you safe from rejection, but it also keeps you small. And if you only seek to do things that never stretch you and never challenge you, then you're always going to stay exactly where you are. And so whether it's raising your prices, hiring somebody, letting somebody go, putting yourself out there more, starting your own podcast, posting more on LinkedIn or Facebook or Instagram, doing some public speaking, investing in a mentor before you fully feel ready to do so. On the other side, you're going to be so glad and so thankful that you did. But let's talk about how we can push through that fear and move into more of a space of taking action. So first, ask yourself, why is that fear even there? What am I trying to make this mean, this fear of doing the thing? And what bad thing happens if I do go after it? Like, what's the worst that could happen? The absolute worst. Because I'm pretty sure the answer to that probably is not that you're going to die, right? Like, it's probably that somebody's going to tell you no. You may get laughed at. Let me tell you a story about the very first time I ever did a public speaking event. I had been in business for 6 or 7 months, and I got asked to come speak to a group of about 50 to 60 people, and it was in Colorado. And so we fly out, and I'm feeling pretty good. Like, I knew the content pretty well. I had practiced it, and I get up, I start talking, and I immediately begin coughing. And like, I cannot catch my breath for nothing. I keep coughing and I keep trying to spit the words out. And the more I would talk, the worse my throat would get. And my husband ran to the back of the room and grabbed a glass of water and ran it up to me to keep me going. Thank God. And so I'm drinking my water. I'm saying like 3 words at a time. And the crowd's just like, in my head, they're like, what is this? Like, are we really listening to this girl? That was my first ever speaking experience. And I made it through the end, and I was just so glad that I just made it through. I just did it. And then to my surprise, at the end, people actually came up to me, and here I am expecting that they're going to come up and say, I can't believe you just coughed through that whole thing. They were actually saying like, wow, this stuff really helped me in my business. And I didn't know these things. I didn't know that I should be looking at this way. And it totally melted that fear of, feeling so insecure that I just coughed through this entire thing. And I still sometimes get embarrassed about it. I still find it, coming up when I'm about to do other speaking engagements. But the thing is, as much as I think about that moment, I know those people that I spoke to never thought about it again. All they knew was that this girl, she came up, she told us some good information about our businesses. She coughed through it a little bit, but we still had a really good takeaway. So if I can get through that, you can get through whatever it is that you're putting off right now. You're going to be fine. And I want you to know that when we think of these worst case scenarios, like we start to realize, okay, that actually isn't all that bad. And then reframe your thoughts. What's the best case scenario that could happen out of this? So like for me, starting this podcast, if I'm thinking about the best case scenario, that's, reaching tens of thousands of business owners that are able to improve their business because of what I'm talking about, or, more clients coming in or whatever it is. That's the best case scenario. And so keep that in your mind as well when you're taking these small actions. Don't overthink it. Just start doing. And remind yourself that you've done the scary thing before. You can do the scary thing again, and you're going to be fine. So what I want you to take away from this is that fear is not a reason to stop. It doesn't mean that you're not equipped. You just need to trust yourself. You're going to be fine. It's a sign that you're growing. And so what is that one scary thing that you know that you need to do right now that you've just been putting it off? Go ahead and do it. And then send me an email or leave a comment on what it was and any results that you saw afterwards, whether it was just a huge sigh of relief or like that person you needed to reach out to said, sure, let's meet. Let me know what happened. All right, that's all I have this week. Bye.